Hi guys, just wanted to make a little video about TCAT. This fella here. Wanted to touch on some bits and pieces I've seen over the last few days. In particular, with regards to, I can't remember where it was now, somewhere on X. There was a guy doing a speech all about meme coins. He's got a big following, so he obviously knows what he's talking about. And just talking about crypto in general, I think it was at one of these conferences recently. Over in Singapore, over that neck of the woods. What he was saying was the way crypto has been is working is sort of changing a bit now. Memes are becoming the forefront. And what he was saying, and it made a lot of sense, was there's a lot of crypto projects that launch and they launch onto big chains, big exchanges and things like that, but they've already sort of had private sales in the background. So there's already people made a lot of money before they've launched, but they don't sell. They still just sort of keep it. So when you hear the term like private rounds and pre-sales and a lot of things like that, KOLs, a lot of things like that are teams that will buy into the tokens early before they're launched. The token is then launched. It goes on to wherever it goes on to, whatever exchange, Mexi, Binance, whatever, whichever one, there's loads of them. And what happens from there is inevitably the price will sort of come down after the launch, after the so-called hype of the launch. But the guys who bought the tokens in the first place still keep them. And then your normal punters like me and you and everybody, like just general public, see the price of something going down. They also see a lot of people on YouTube who are paid shillers, who are paid by the projects, to start saying, oh, it might be a good time to have a look at this. The price is coming right down. Might be a good entry point. Guarantee if you're watching this, you've heard people say these sorts of things. And basically what that's intending to do is entice people to then buy and force the price back up. And then when the price goes back up, the people who initially had the tokens from day one, possibly already like 100x up when it was launched, then look to sell out in small, like sort of proportions. So people like us are buying, and somebody in the background who's got a hell of a lot of tokens is selling off to us effectively. And that's why when people say do your own research on projects and things like that, you need to look at sort of holder counts. How many holders are there? Is the wallets that have got like a big proportion of the holdings? So are there lots of people like 5 and 10% or 3% or 1%, depending on how many there is. But people with big bags, basically, that's what you're kind of looking out for. And that is the sort of thing where people can make an awful lot of money on the back of everybody else buying it and buying the hype. And so it makes sense to pay people to shill, makes sense to pay YouTube people with thousands of followers, for example, to promote the token, because effectively you basically they're then getting their people, their subscribers, potentially to buy, and then they sell on the back of it and make all the money. So what this guy was saying was people are getting sick of that, in all honesty, and that makes sense because you don't want to be sort of, it's not getting scammed, but you don't want to be going into that game because you're not going to win. The odds are stacked heavily against you before you even start. And this is where I look at meme coins that are fair launched. So everyone's got the same opportunity to buy at the beginning. More often than not, you'll find people that miss out on these projects or because you didn't see it. You haven't, it hasn't come on your radar yet, so you haven't seen it. Obviously some people, for every project that's launched fairly, there will be some people that's seen it very quick and bought it very quick. I did that with Ton Season, seen it quite early, very early on, in fact, and bought some. And yeah, that's just like sort of the luck of being in the right place at the right time, looking in the right places, stumbling upon it effectively. And that can just be luck, in all honesty. But the main thing is the projects that we're talking about. So TSA I've just spoke about there, which is Ton Season on the Ton ecosystem. And this one here, which you can see on the screen, is TCAT. They're fairly launched, slightly different TCAT because it was a community takeover where the original developer sort of sold out. And these guys, the Ghost team and Tyrell, took on this project at a $5,000 market cap, and then took over all the socials, developed everything, developed the token, changed the artwork, as you can see. Have burned 6.5 million tokens, which is effectively 40% of the supply. Developed a real world ongoing utility of bots that generate revenue, and that revenue is then used to buy and burn more TCAT. So it's basically just ever decreasing the available amount that's left on the open market for the likes of me and you and everybody else to buy. Now, what is great about it is it's fair. It's fair. Everybody has got the same opportunity to buy it. There's nobody sitting with a massive amount that they bought before anybody else had the opportunity to buy it. Yes, there will be people sitting with big amounts, although caveat that was something I'm going to say in a minute. There was people sitting with big amounts who were part of the team that took it over, the Ghost team, and obviously then decided to buy. Might not even have been a big amount of money, but it ended up being a big amount of number of tokens because the value of it went up. So what happened with the burn I've just spoke about before there, like $1.5 million was burnt by Tyrell, which was his initial doxed wallet. But he also had his own sort of private wallet where he bought at the beginning, I would imagine. So what he managed to do and what the Ghost team decided to do were all send their tokens that they bought very early at the 5K takeover point, all send them to Tyrell, and then he will burn them all, which is where the $5 million worth of tokens came from and were burnt. So a lot of the Ghost team would have had big bags from getting in early, but they've given it away essentially, and it's been burnt. Now, what Tyrell has done is then divided out his own personal bag to the people who sent him the tokens to be burnt. And I heard a stat the other day where something crazy like people were sending him like $1.5 million worth, or was it $1.5 million? Might have been $150,000 worth, and getting back like 20,000 or 30,000 or something like that. So basically, giving a lot away and getting back by comparison a small amount. But you see that is part of the overall roadmap and the overall journey, that all of these guys are prepared to do that. Guys and girls are prepared to do that because they know where the project is heading in the direction it's being taken in. So that in itself speaks massive volumes to me when you sit and logically think about it. Someone's prepared to give a huge amount away for a smaller amount, but for the greater good of the overall project and where it will go to. So yeah, absolutely bananas really when you think about it. But people say, and it's often true, you've got to have that vision, that longer mindset, that longer term vision. And that's essentially what's happening there. So yeah, so what this guy was saying on the way I seen it, X I think it was, like I said before, this conference was, he thinks a lot of money is going to come to meme coins because of what I've just spoke about, really, the fairness of the opportunity for everybody, the level playing field, if you will. So, and what he was saying was he thinks that a couple in this bull run coming up, into 2025, a couple of these projects will go over 100 billion worth market cap. He said there'll be, I think he said a dozen-ish, maybe 12, 10, 12, that'll go over $10 billion in market cap. And then multiple that'll hit $1 billion to $2 billion, or, between $1 billion and $10 billion in market cap. And what you've got to think is, that seems like a little bit far-fetched right now at this moment in time, but the huge amount of adoption and everything hasn't come yet. And then when it does, and one starts to run, another one starts to run, it's like a ripple effect. It's like a knock-on effect. And we will, I think, see a massive, massive inflow of money into these meme coins. And people will, once you see one or two going, people will be anticipating the next one, and then that's when the hype machine will take over. And the ones that stand to win are the ones that have got genuine fair launch, like TCAT, all of the things I spoke about before, genuine utility, which is only going to increase the sort of belief in the project, the genuineness of the project. People where they have VCs every day, and it's the commitment of the team, the community. The community is second to none. And all of these things will be the deciding factor between where the money flows to and where the money doesn't flow to. Each chain, I think, will have its own success. You've had Shape, you've had Doge before going massively high. You've got Brett, which looks like it's going to be the one on base to go at. There's Bull on Tron, which is getting spoke about quite a lot. And for me, in my eyes, there's TCAT on Ton, which is maybe not being spoke about in the biggest of circles as yet, but it's certainly making waves in those circles. And I'm thinking again, like perfect storm situation I've spoke about many times. By the time it comes to the crunch of, it really taking off, it's on a lot of people's lips, a lot of people's minds, and that's where it'll just gain that traction. And then when it's gone, and that's it. Onwards, upwards to who knows where. So yeah, just wanted to touch on that. This is obviously the website, if anyone hasn't seen it. It talks about the PPP mindset movement. It's got all the links. It's got the link to the bot that I've talked about there. It's got about community engagement, how to buy, normal stuff, but it's really smartly designed website to talk about the burn here. And then there's a FAQ section. So it's good. In terms of price, not that bothered if I'm totally honest with you, because I can I'm playing at the longer game, seeing where it's going more longer term than just looking at the price in the here and now. Obviously, when it started there, this was in around my birthday actually, it had big run up to its all-time highs, and then it cooled off, had its the usual what happens with a project, and then it had a big run up again, and then it's back to about halfway to where it was. But yeah, there's a lot of people steadfast with this project. There's a lot of people that are community again, like I'm saying, and I suppose you get this if you're in any community. People are holding, and all the messages are positive and all that sort of thing. And I would just say I've been in lots and lots of groups like that, but I feel this is different, and I can't 100% articulate and put my finger on every single point as to why, but there's too many. There's lots of points. It's community, it's the engagement, it's the everyday voice chats, it's the drive, the commitment of the team, it's the people in the community, it's the onboarding of new people, it's the help, it's the content creators, who, by the way, everyone that creates content for Tomcat are unpaid. There's no paid shilling at all. It is all just natural growth. Which is why I think, if this thing ran to 100 million tomorrow, there would be some people sell. Obviously, that's life. But the steadfast people in there from the beginning, or in there from the early days, I still think they think that that's cheap, and it's not the point to sell out. Do you know what I mean? It's the point to keep building from, and I suppose once you're bigger, it's easier to get bigger again, isn't it? Because then once you're bigger, there's more people coming in, there's more eyes on it. And once you get that big takeoff effect and then people come and then they do their own investigation and they look at the price and they look at the project and everything that's going on behind it, they probably think 100 million's cheap. It's still a great investment. So it's all about where everybody is within their own mind in terms of their own crypto journey and your own vision and your own. Are you the type of person, I've spoken about this in different videos, that wants to buy something Monday and sell it Friday? If you are, then right, fine. Maybe look at the little pump and dumps everywhere on Solana and other places. But if you're someone that's more of a longer term mindset, someone like an early Shib or an early Doge who wants to park a bag, buy a bag, park it, and then wait and see where it goes. This is more of that sort of play in my eyes, and that's exactly what I'm doing. My bags are offline onto cold storage. Spoke about that as well. Feel free, go back, look through my videos. I haven't got that many, but I covered all these sorts of things. My bags, I build little bags up by dollar cost averaging onto just normal Myton, Hove or Tonki apps or whatever. And then when I get an amount I'm comfortable with, a few $100 or whatever, I'll then transfer it to a longer term solution, which is cold storage that can't be hacked. So ultimately, if one of me little wallets with a couple of hundred in got hacked, not great, obviously, or I clicked the wrong link, or something like that happened. Not ideal, obviously. However, it's not the biggest problem because the bulk is sitting in a different wallet. And I say bulk, I'm not massively rich or anything like that, but I've got a bit more than a few hundred, should we say. But yeah, that's it. I just wanted to make this video. It's the first time I've used this video, trying to look a bit more professional. I normally just do the off the cuff, talking to the camera. I'm conscious I'm probably looking at at me in the corner here with my eyes a little bit and not focusing on the screen. Yeah, any comments, positive, negative, please feel free to pop them on in the chat, in the comments below, and I will learn and get better as I go on. Okay, guys, thanks now. Work out how to turn this off now.